There it is. First model I want to talk about is, my thesis is called Untying a Knot, because making a mural feels like trying to untie a knot. Kind of like a much, much bigger version of this. I want 2 volunteers to come up here and help me try and untie this. Is anybody interested? Would you like to? Yes. All right. In the knot model, this represents a community. You guys, you can stay right here so we can all see how it works. This represents the community, and each one of these little loops is another part of the community. Here we've got maybe the disaster, we've got like downed buildings. Here we've got political agenda mixed in over there. We've got the community aesthetic over here, some folk stories over there, and then you throw a mural project into it, and now you've got, paint supplies. You've got the neighbor who doesn't want a mural, that's that one. You've got kids who want to paint something else on the mural, that's really tightly in there. So what I wanted to show you guys is just together,
what you want us to do?
Try straightening it out, because making a mural in a community, in order for the community to be functional, and especially after they've experienced trauma or disaster, they get all their assets and their activities bound up in a knot like this, and it's hard for them to reach out, it's hard for them to be cooperative and functional. So if you're going to make a mural, you've got to work with the painting process, but you also have to work with the community's state. So just go ahead and try, and both of you at the same time, try and undo some of that right there. So what you're seeing is what I like to call untwisting, unlooping, some intuitive, some analytical. Okay, the end is sharp, that's also happens sometimes. Okay. So you're kind of developing a system. First you've got to pull. Sometimes you have to pull and sometimes you have to push. I'd like you guys to demonstrate something for me. You're doing a great job, but what I want to see is somebody take one end and somebody take the other end and just pull away from each other as hard as you can. Just take the whole knot in your hands
Pull away.
and just pull.
Keep going that way, son.
Just pull it.
But, are you going? Yeah. Okay.
This is All right, thank you. That type of response is a pretty typical human response when things aren't going our way. When we don't understand how to progress with the project or how to put our neighborhood back together, we just pull all the harder. And when your community is in this state, I'm telling you, it doesn't work. And if you're trying to do community arts and involve other people, just pulling for what you want or pushing for what you want doesn't work. You've got to work with what's there. And sometimes you have to put something under and then it doesn't work and you have to put it back over where it was, and you've got to untwist it with what it wasn't to turn it into what it should be.
We're doing all right, I guess.
Yeah, I want to give you an example.
We need more help.
Yeah.
Social capital.
Actually, I've tried the experience of too many cooks in the kitchen, and if we had 6 people up here with their hands on the knot, it actually becomes debilitating.
Oh, okay.
And if you're working on a project where there's too many people in charge, where you've got a mayor in charge, you've got a sponsoring organization, 3 or 4 artists, community leaders, you end up with a big fight and probably a bigger knot.
Yeah.
I want to give you a small example of part of untying a knot. So we've had some hurricane disaster. Transportation's not so hot in this location. Okay, we're getting there. That's great.
Keep going.
You're great.
Just keep.
You're going to be expert mural makers by the end of this.
Just keep swimming.
I had set up an appointment to start. You saw the kids painting the plants on their school. I set up an appointment. We're going to start our mural workshop after school. Everyone was ready. We got permission from their parents. They were bringing their paint clothes. I wasn't allowed to go out and buy paints because they had to be purchased through my sponsoring organization, and they had to be purchased at a discount, and the receipts kept to satisfy the grant funders and all these types of things. And of course, everything has to come in on a boat because this is an island country. Sometimes there's shortages of supplies. So the day came for our mural class to start. We didn't have any paint. And I had to tell the kids to go home because we weren't ready to go. And one of the little boys went home and started crying because he was so excited to get started. But sometimes that's something like this. You're ready to go with this side, but the other side is all tangled up.
You did a good job.
And it happened that this young boy, his mom was the one who worked at the hardware store and where we were looking for paint following day, we were able to purchase multiple gallons, and as we're ringing it up, she suspiciously looked at us and said, "Are you guys the one running that painting operation over there?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "My boy came home crying yesterday because he was all ready to paint, and what happened?" And she was all upset. And we were checking out with our paint 24 hours later as she was saying this. I said, "Well, this is the paint right here." And all of a sudden, then she was okay. Like, "Oh, okay, I see, you've got the paint, I understand." And actually, one of the reasons we couldn't purchase the paint was because she, as a cashier, had left early the day before, and it was a big mix. So that's exactly the point. You guys, I think that might do
Oh, we
it.
do it? Okay, good.
If you really want to finish it, we could do it at the end if you. The point is, no matter what your field is, you're going to have a knot of some type of resource, some type of problem, some type of pre-existing expectation, pre-existing fights. You've got neighbors who've got agendas. You've got powerful parties in the neighborhood who've got agendas, and they'll try to use your project or not use it to sort of push their own agenda. So maybe you're a youth leader, and maybe you're not using paints and brushes. Maybe you're using facilities and chalkboards and overhead projectors. Or maybe you're into community development and you're using blueprints and meetings. But this is, I think, a pretty common thing to come into, especially with communities that are struggling and trying to get back on their feet. So this is the model of what it's actually like to work on the project.